Students, please be seated. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to welcome you, the Magellan Charter School class of 2010. I am also delighted to welcome your parents, grandparents, siblings, extended family, and friends on this very auspicious occasion. Finally, I want to welcome our board of directors and staff members and thank them for coming this evening and for another outstanding year at Magellan. In order to give everyone the opportunity to savor each moment of this wonderful ceremony, I ask that you please turn off all electronic devices at this time. I'd now like to direct my remarks to the fine young ladies and gentlemen seated before me. Your class will always hold a very special place in our hearts because you are leaving a legacy to Magellan. You have led the way in enhancing a culture of respect and acceptance through the development of our first annual Campaign for Character. I expect that many 8th grade classes to come will have to work very hard to model their campaign after yours. They will have quite a challenge living up to the standard you have set for this endeavor. Parents, we have included a copy of the Campaign for Character video that the students created and produced, and it will be on your graduation DVD. I know you'll be extremely impressed and proud when you see it. As has become a part of our daily routine here at Magellan, I'd like to share a final thought of the day with the fine young ladies and gentlemen seated before me. This comes from an anonymous author. There once was a woman who woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, and noticed that she had only 3 hairs left on her head. "Well," she said, "I think I'll braid my hair today." So she did, and she had a wonderful day. The next day, she woke up, looked in the mirror, and saw that she had only 2 hairs on her head. She said, "I think I'll part my hair down the middle today." So she did, and she had a grand day. The next day, she woke up and noticed she only had 1 hair on her head. "Well," she said, "today I guess I'm going to wear my hair in a ponytail." So she did, and she had a fun day. The next day, she woke up, looked in the mirror, and noticed that there wasn't a single hair on her head. "Yay!" she exclaimed. "I don't have to fix my hair today." Boys and girls, I want you to remember that attitude is everything. No matter what happens in life, always look for the positive in every situation. Before I turn the program over, I want to take a moment to recognize the fact that 44 of our graduates who are sailing on are taking their wonderful families with them this evening. I don't think we have ever had such a large group leave us. Would those students who are the last in their family to graduate from Magellan and their parents please stand at this time? On behalf of the entire Magellan community, I'd like to extend our heartfelt appreciation for your tireless dedication, generosity, and support over the years. Boys and girls, I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to be with you as you have grown into outstanding young adults over the past 5 years. And now it is time to watch you sail on to new adventures. Please know that Magellan will always be your alma mater, and our doors will be forever open to you. Please sit back now and enjoy a musical interlude from our 8th grade singers. The class gift.
We, the Magellan graduates of the class of 2010, are very pleased that our class gift this year will be going to two very worthwhile charity organizations, one locally and one globally. During the past year, we have organized various ways to raise money. Our two Super Sub lunch days were very successful, not only financially, but also in educating all grade levels about the charities we selected. We feel very blessed as a school and a community and want to contribute in some small way to the people who are very much in need of help. The local charity we chose is the Salvation Army of America. It appears our gift will come at exactly the right time because it is just reported that the Salvation Army's pantries are almost empty. The second choice was inspired by Mr. Bailey when we read 3 Cups of Tea by Greg Mortensen in our language arts classes. After reading this book, we felt we really needed to make our global donation to the Pennies for Peace project, which is sponsored by the Central Asia Institute. This program raises money to help build schools in impoverished areas of the Middle East and Central Asia. The mission of this program is to promote peace one school at a time. On behalf of the graduating class of 2010, we would like to present 2 checks in the amount of $500 to each of these very deserving charities serving people in great need.
Thank you, Mitch, and thank you, students. What an outstanding gift. Sam Jane, Joseph Ducharme, Kelsey Little, and Drew Navarro are now going to awe you with their reflections of their experience at Magellan.
When I think about graduation, there's a quote by Dr. Seuss that comes to mind. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. It's very bittersweet to be leaving Magellan. I'm excited to begin a new voyage, high school, but it's sad to be leaving the Magellan Charter School. This is a great place full of wonderful and unique people. I remember finding out my lottery number was picked to attend this great school. I didn't know how to react at first. I'd have to go to a new school full of strangers. Before I was ready, the first day of 4th grade had rolled around. As my car pulled up to the tiny school behind the Kmart, I was nervous. There were 8th graders at this school. 8th graders. They were huge. Now, I think that thought was pretty ridiculous. As my nerves calmed, I knew I was going to have a great experience. Turns out, that's exactly what happened. 4th grade was a whirlwind year filled with so many amazing memories. I was meeting new friends every day. Unfortunately, my homeroom had the smelly task of cleaning up after T-Rex, the iguana in a giant cage. But we did get to listen to the record player during lunch, which made up for it. I went on my very first overnight field trip that year. Trinity. I can still smell the dead squid and brackish water we had to explore in. The next thing I knew, I was in 5th grade learning about clouds, Taylor Boy the Painted Cave, and memorizing all the 50 states with Miss Horty. One of my best memories from 5th grade was Miss Blaylock's Break It Down, Break It Down, Break It Down fraction song. The end of the school year was starting to close, and everyone was excited for 6th grade. We would be moving to a new school and have lockers. 6th grade was filled with fun things. We had our first theme days, Greek and medieval. Mrs. Harp let us build Roman roads out of candy. Mrs. Walker's class was great, but the dreaded vocabulary books were not. We got to learn about quadrants through math, featuring Miss Sutton as arrow. In Miss Duffus's class, we grew bean plants and learned about space. One not-so-fun thing was yet another field trip to Trinity. Soon enough, 7th grade was before us. So was our first field trip, Blowing Rock. The teachers let us stay in our rooms without parents, which was probably a big mistake. My roommates and I had an entire drawer filled with apples we had collected, along with a sink full of leaves we had tangled into our hair. Jumping into a giant leaf pile probably wasn't the smartest decision, but it was the most fun. The high ropes course freaked most people out, including my partner, but luckily we got through it. 7th grade teachers kept us busy with memorizing countries, math formulas, and facts about Asia, Africa, and Australia. Miss Letticoat's smartboard malfunctions added to the fun year. We did have time to relax, especially our educational field trip to Busch Gardens. As if a light switch was turned on and off, 7th grade was over. I now had the most important year of all before me, 8th grade. I couldn't believe that I had already gone 4 years into this school. Could it be that I only had 1 year left? 1 year with the most amazing friends? 1 year with teachers that treat you as well as their own children? 1 year for us to be the big kids and the role models. Summer was gone in the blink of an eye, and the first day of Magellan was here. I made my way up the stairwell at the end of the elementary school hallway. I thought to myself as I saw the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, could it be that I'd been in their position just 5 years ago? Could I have been one of those tiny, eager, self-conscious kids that now flooded the halls? As I entered my classroom, I have to admit, the teachers scared me. They seemed so strict when I'd seen them around the school. Well, yet again, I was wrong. My math class was an update center for everything sports, American Idol, and the most completely random things. Science with Miss Kirchman had so many fun labs, and then the not-so-fun buckle-down books. She had some pretty hilarious stories, too, like her sister hitting her on the nose with a moose bottle. The craziest class of all was social studies. How many people get to play silent ball just as reviewing or to fill up extra time? Mr. Winters did keep us in line, though, with his lunch detentions for talking, which I seemed to get more often than others. Finally, there was the wonderful Mr. Bailey. Almost every morning, I was greeted by, "Sam, we're going to get rid of our gum, right?" I probably won't ever get the voice of Grandma Ruggles, just one of the many characters in the read-aloud books, out of my head either. We shouldn't be crying, though, because Magellan was such a happy experience. I don't know if there's any other place where people are so excited to come to school and learn. The past 5 years I've spent here have been filled with some of the best memories and the best friends that I could have possibly ever asked for. So even though it's over, we were the lucky ones, the ones that got to attend this terrific school. So don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
When my mom asked me if I wanted to go to a different school that some of my friends were going to, I agreed, having no idea what I was getting into. I was just following some of my friends into some mystery school that I had never heard of before. Apparently, it was called the Magellan Charter School. That was a name that didn't mean anything to me. When my mom was taking me there for the first time, I noticed she was turning behind a grocery store and into a parking lot near a tiny movie theater. I asked her if she remembered if it was my first day of school or not. She said she knew very well that it was. So I asked her if she was lost. But then, on a small brick building in large white letters, I see the words, "The Magellan Charter School." Oh. So this is where I'm going. Okay then, let's see how this goes. And over the past 5 years, it has gone very well. If I ever find something wrong with Magellan, which is hardly ever, I stop and I think to myself, what would my life be like if I never went to Magellan? If I never went to Magellan, I wouldn't have all of the friends that I have now. If I never went to Magellan, I wouldn't know all of the things that I know now. If I never went to Magellan, I wouldn't have all of these great experiences that I've been through. If I never went to Magellan, I wouldn't be the same person that I am now. And I have so many memories from this small school. I have memories that are funny. I have memories that are painful. I have memories so painful, they're funny. And memories so funny, they're painful. Like the time when I had a wad of molten hot glue on my leg. Or when I tried to kick a ball over my head, but instead I slipped, fell, and smacked my head on the asphalt. Or the time when Ryan got loogied on Apollo's chariot at Busch Gardens. But not only am I leaving with memories, I'm leaving with knowledge. Knowledge that was obtained through multiple explanations, taking notes, quizzes, and tests, and plenty of homework. But I wouldn't have all this knowledge if it weren't for all the wonderful teachers here at Magellan. If I didn't have teachers like Mrs. Sutton, Mrs. Maroffer, or Mrs. Kane, I wouldn't know my full potential in math. If I didn't have Mr. Harp or Mrs. Kirchman, I wouldn't know what a duodenum or a euglena was. And if I didn't have Mr. Bailey, this speech would be a list of field trips that we went on, and it would be over by now. I have learned so much from each individual teacher that I've had here. And now that I am leaving this most excellent school, I shall head off to high school and see what it has to offer me. When I entered Magellan, I entered unknowing. I didn't know what it would be like, who the people were, but now I know what it's like. Magellan is the best experience that I've ever had. And as I leave, I will leave unknowing, like when I came in. When I think about it, Magellan is the only place that I truly know. Before Magellan, I didn't really know where I was. And right now, high school is a mystery. But Magellan is not only a place that I will always know. It is a place I will never forget.
Yes, I am Douglas Little's little sister. I am the sister of the Walt Whitman Award winner. I am the sister of the Poetry Recitation Contest winner. I am the sister of the third place winner of the Black History Month contest. I am the sister of the baseball captain of 2007. I am the sister of a Magellan athlete and legend. But I am also, like Doug, a mariner. It's not easy living in his shadow, but I soon learned that it didn't matter. Doug was unique, but aren't all mariners? Because after all, Magellan is no ordinary school. I knew some of what to expect from Magellan even before I started. I knew we would play in a parking lot, eat without a cafeteria, and really get to know these 68 kids. What I didn't know were the things that made Magellan special. I didn't know that such dedicated teachers were willing to spend each waking moment striving for complete understanding. That each year, our personalities would continue to grow and develop, and that each field trip would provide strong, everlasting memories. Magellan provided me with my own opportunities to shine. Doug also made a boutique, but his wasn't auctioned off at the spaghetti dinner like mine. And while both of us managed to play soccer at Magellan, he sure didn't play volleyball. Magellan offers its students exactly what they need to become their own unique person. The class of 2010. We'll remember eating bugs in Mr. C's classroom, making a tessellation quilt, and being the last grade allowed to use the microwaves at lunch. We remember wearing Crocs when they were cool and hearing the buzz of a new Magellan school being built. We remember moving into the building and having to eat lunch over the mulch with all the ants and bees. We remember attending dances in the gym and having dance lessons from Miss Sutton to prepare for them. How could we forget the human body projects or the water cycle song? We all have unique memories that have made our 5 years at Magellan something we will never forget. The friendships that have been made at this school will last for years. The impact the dedicated teachers have made on our learning will be evident in our high school success. Our parents and families have supported us through all the ups and downs during the past 5 years at Magellan, and we will never forget what they have done for us. We will never forget where we came from, the humble beginnings in the parking lot of a K&S cafeteria behind the Food Lion. Because Magellan is unique, it was able to foster all of our own individual uniqueness. Whether academically strong, an athlete, or an artist, Magellan is a place of learning, where all students thrive and grow into the individuals they are meant to be. I will look back fondly on my years at Magellan and the role it played in making me who I am today.
Good evening. 5 years have passed, and that day is still clear. My first day at Magellan had just begun. At some point during the day, I remember taking a look in my agenda to write down an assignment. When I opened the front cover, these very words caught my eye. Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. 5 minutes passed, and those words were still on my mind. 5 days passed, and the words still kept coming back to my conscience. 5 years have passed, and those very words have proved to have made all the difference in my time here at Magellan. When I was younger, I felt like school was a place where you just went through the same motions every day, again and again. Would my Magellan experience be identical to my elementary experience? My sisters loved it, but what would I think about it? But after the first week in 4th grade, I was convinced that my time here at Magellan would only get better. Soon my friends at other schools were loathing the fact that I had been able to explore Bogue Sound, dissect squids, have a pizza day, create lighthouses, and be taught by creative teachers. If I hadn't come to Magellan, I'm sure that I would still see school in that 2D nearsighted dimension. Just in 1 year, I was taught to appreciate school and strive to be something more than the go-through-the-motions student. My Magellan experience kept improving through the years. I'll admit that there were times when I'd begin to despise certain assignments because of their difficulty, or because I just couldn't see how it was helping me. No matter the reason for my feelings, I used the challenges as a way to excel myself past the basic requirements. My teachers challenged and tested my motives to do well in school, and in doing so, taught me to strive to choose a unique path and lead the way for others. Once my motives were tested and set in stone, my teachers made us apply them every day. Students may complain about workload, but this school has showed me to make the best of it. Going on now, I know that I'm prepared and equipped with everything I'll need for high school academics, thanks to the hard-working teachers of all grades. But there's a lot I'm going to be leaving behind. I'll be leaving behind most friends, both old and new, whom over these 5 years have become unimaginably close to me. I'll be leaving behind all the unique freedoms Magellan has to offer, like hands-on activities and recess. And I'll also be leaving behind the best teachers any student could ever wish for. But most of all, I'll be leaving behind the path that has guided me through this great experience. A path built up with successes, failures, and improvements. Blazing a new trail will be a test of a lifetime, but also an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm sure that the future will present me with countless opportunities to stray from the regular path and forge my own. Because I've got one goal in life: escape the ordinary, live the extraordinary, and set the example for future generations. And when I graduate here tonight, I want everyone to know that none of this could be possible without the help I found here at the Magellan Charter School.
Now I'd like to present some of the awards for excellence in social studies. The historian George Santayana said, "Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it." History is not just a study of dates and facts. History is about making connections from the past to the present. History is the way by which we can improve the human condition, by learning about the successes and failures of the past and applying that knowledge to the future. This year's George Santayana History Award recipient has made it his passion to learn the lessons of the past both in class and out of class. I am proud to announce that Jackson Payne is this year's recipient. While commenting to George Washington about the necessity of taking a position in America's struggle with unfair British taxation, George Mason said, "Politics is the air that we breathe." Washington had been wavering a bit about which side to take, but Mason made his convincing argument that the Patriot cause was just and that men such as Washington must lead the way. This year's recipient would make George Mason proud. The recipient for this year's George Mason Political Science Award is Brendan Hoey. During the Constitutional Convention in 1787, James Madison was recognized by the members of the convention as the man who knew more about government and law than any other person in the United States. Madison took copious notes. He listened to many debates, added his perspective, and helped craft the U.S. Constitution. This student embodies the spirit of Madison's approach to social studies. This year's recipient of the James Madison Constitutional Studies Award is Sarah Hammond. Edmund Burke, the noted social and political philosopher, once said, "The only thing needed for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing." Burke realized it isn't enough to just be a good person, but it is even more important to influence others to do good through one's actions, thoughts, and deeds. The recipient of this award consistently shows others that the true measure of being a man through his example of kindness, caring, and hard work. The recipient of the Edmund Burke Citizenship Award is Robert Anderson.
Thomas Edison is considered one of the most prolific inventors in history, holding over 1,000 patents in the United States, as well as many patents in the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. One of his most famous quotes is, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Edison's genius was not the same as that of Newton or Einstein, but genius distinguished by natural talent, perseverance, and hard work. According to Edison, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and it looks like work. The students selected are not afraid of hard work, do not hesitate to seek guidance when needed, and are committed to doing their best regardless of the situation they find themselves. The Thomas Edison Science Award goes to two deserving students, Robert Anderson and Mary Catherine Dobner. Albert Einstein, whose ideas have changed the course of modern physics, was not a conventional thinker, nor was he a conventional student. Einstein wrote, "The value of an education is not the learning of many facts from a textbook, but the training of the mind to think something that cannot be learned from textbooks." We have two students who have trained their minds to think beyond the obvious, to question, to evaluate, to create, and to make connections. Unconventional thinkers indeed. I am pleased to present the Albert Einstein Award to Drew Navarro and Austin Glass. Hundreds of women over the years have distinguished themselves in scientific pursuits, but Maria Mitchell was one of the first to do so, becoming the first female astronomer and professor of astronomy in the United States. She once said, "We have a hunger of the mind, which asks for knowledge of all around us, and the more we gain, the more is our desire. The more we see, the more we are capable of seeing." Her sense of independence and self-belief helped her break through incredible social, legal, and professional barriers to forge new paths for future generations of scientists and women. One of our students exemplifies Maria Mitchell's can-do attitude and approach to life. Like Maria Mitchell, she has the motivation, self-discipline to go beyond the norm and will excel in whatever field she chooses. I am privileged to present the Maria Mitchell Science Award to Sarah Ward. Marie Curie took on many roles during her lifetime: wife, mother, research scientist, college student, Polish patriot, institute director, fundraiser, X-ray technician, mentor, and teacher. As one of the most famous female scientists to date, Marie Curie has been an icon in the scientific world and has inspired many tributes and recognitions. Curie once wrote, "We must have perseverance and, above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing, whatever the cost, must be attained." We have a student who is gifted with a great mind, relentlessly pursuing excellence and understanding, and never settling for anything less than perfection. With great pleasure, I present the Marie Curie Science Award to Kylie Shannon.
Roger Bacon, a 13th century mathematician, said, "Mathematics is the door and the key to the sciences." In that same sense, pre-algebra is the stepping stone to all higher level mathematics classes. Students work hard solving equations, graphing lines, determining probability, and developing their problem-solving skills. I am pleased to present the Roger Bacon Math Award to a student who excelled in each of these areas, Shelley Starkey. Pythagoras, a brilliant philosopher and mathematician, once said, "Number is the within of all things." He made use of trial and error, as well as exact and precise computations, to discover mathematical concepts. He loved the mysterious and wonderful properties of numbers. I am proud to present the Pythagorean Algebra Award to two students who exhibit these same qualities, who constantly strive for excellence, and who set the example for all other students. This year's recipients are Drew Bedell and Sarah Ward. According to legend, a beginning student of geometry asked Euclid, "What shall I get from learning these things?" Euclid called his servant and said, "Give him a coin, since he must make gain out of what he learns." The students chosen for the Euclidean Geometry Award always want to know the why as well as the how, and exemplified Euclid's belief that mathematics should be studied for its own sake, for its intrinsic beauty and its elegance, as well as its applications. This year's Euclidean Geometry Award goes to two very deserving students. Let's try that again. This year's Euclidean Geometry Award goes to two very deserving students, Sarah Hammond and Kylie Shannon.
The book is undoubtedly mankind's greatest invention, yet doomsayers predict its demise. Their theory is that brain-numbing, intellectually passive forms of entertainment will snuff out all desire to read. Happily, I can report that reading survives at Magellan. Mark Twain once said, "The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them." It is with great pleasure to present the Mark Twain Reading Award to two voracious readers of good books, Mary Catherine Dobner and Jackson Payne. In her diary, Anne Frank wrote, "Would you ever think so much went on in the soul of a young girl?" The only way Anne could express herself during her years in hiding was with her pen, and express herself she did. She also wrote, "I can recapture everything when I write, my thoughts, my ideals, and my fantasies. There is one student here who can certainly express herself with her pen. It is an honor to present the Anne Frank Writing Award to Amy Williams." Emily Dickinson carefully chose the words for her poems. She once wrote, "A word dropped careless on a page breeds infection. The right word brings beauty, power, and life to writing." In one of her poems are the lines, "A word that breathes distinctly has not the power to die." There is a young writer here today who chooses her words as carefully as Emily Dickinson, a young writer whose prose and poetry breathes distinctly. It is my honor to present the Emily Dickinson Writing Award to Angela Jasmine. The poet William Carlos Williams once said, "A poet is someone who finds the extraordinary in the ordinary. Not everyone can do that, but there is one student in this room who uses his pen to make us think, to make us feel. While William Carlos Williams went on to earn his MD and practice medicine, he never abandoned the decision he made in high school to be a writer. Indeed, he practiced and honed his writing for the remainder of his life. It is an honor to present the William Carlos Williams Writing Award to Drew Navarro.
Community. Her display of excellent citizenship and her dedication to volunteering has been a shining example to other students and a source of pride for our school. I am very proud to present the John F. Kennedy Community Service Award to Hannah Bruce.
There's one among us today whom Ralph Waldo Emerson described nearly 160 years ago by saying, "The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is, which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried." Indeed, this student has discovered great power within himself to tackle any challenge. His openness for learning has set him on the path to success. It is with great pleasure that I present the Ralph Waldo Emerson Self-Reliance Award to Bryant Morton.
Carpe diem, seize the day. That was Henry David Thoreau's fundamental message when he wrote, "I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." Today we recognize one who, no matter whether in a book discussion, on a field study, in a science lab, during a math challenge, or on the athletic field, chooses to live deliberately and to seize the day. I am pleased to present the Henry David Thoreau Carpe Diem Award to Joanna Boyles. Theodore Roosevelt proclaimed, "Far better it is to dare mighty things than to win glorious triumphs, even checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat." Today we acknowledge a student who refuses to live in the gray twilight, one who exemplifies this determined attitude to dare mighty things. With the Theodore Roosevelt Pursuit of Excellence Award, Pierce Stowe.
In his second inaugural address to a country divided by a civil war, Abraham Lincoln proposed, "With malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on." The students chosen for this award strive on in their personal pursuits with humble dignity while always treating others with respect, fairness, and goodwill. I am honored to present the Abraham Lincoln Outstanding Character Award to Drew Bedell and Shelley Starkey.
Thomas Jefferson was the quintessential lifetime student. He was an accomplished writer, historian, philosopher, violinist, architect, natural scientist, inventor, agronomist, legislator, and president. While attending the College of William and Mary, one classmate noted that Jefferson spent 16 hours each day in study. The students selected for this year's Thomas Jefferson Outstanding Student Award have a passion for learning, but they have also established the habits, discipline, and joy that accompany their commitment to academic excellence, to universal learning, to creative expression, and to positive leadership. Today, it is our distinct honor to present the Thomas Jefferson Outstanding Student Award to Drew Navarro and Kylie Shannon.
Mitchell Andrews. Susanna Balcom. Drew Bedell. Nick Biondo. Jameson Blayshaw. Kaylin Bach. Joanna Boyles. Neil Brayman. Kiara Brown Brandon. Hannah Bruce. It's okay. It's okay. Just Emery Buck. Katie Chandler. Mike Caloris. Kaylee Caldwell. Kylie Coster. Kathy Davenport. Pierce Doe. Mary Catherine Dobner. Dylan Dominowski. Hope Dorman. Joseph Ducharme. Emma Evans. Sydney Frizzell. Katie Gimberling. Austin Glass. Andrew Grant. Eli Grimes. Eliza Grunwald. Sarah Hammond. Clark Hannon. Aaron Harris. Rachel Hetherington. Brendan Hoey. Angela Jasmine. Samantha Jane. Molly Jewett. Ryan Kidd. Jordan Lee. Kelsey Little. Sophia Marchington. Hannah Mathis. Scott Mall. Angus Millen. Blake Milner. Brittany Morton. Bryant Morton. Drew Navarro. Allie Ndoma Ogar. Jane Oldham. McKenna Orlando. Jackson Payne. John Perry. Marissa Redmond. Brianna Saunders. Kylie Shannon. Jimmy Sims. Kyle Smith. Matthew Sonnenberg. Timothy Sonnenberg. Shelley Starkey. Gray Sutton. Jason Swienckowski. Cody Thompson. Rachel Tunstall. Allison Varner. Sarah Ward. And Amy Williams.
A couple of weeks ago, as I sat in class listening to your speeches in which you reminisced about this year and your experiences at Magellan, I tried to recall my year in 8th grade. Unfortunately, I can barely remember what I did yesterday, much less the events buried beneath nearly 45 years of brain silt. So I began to write down what I could remember, and the more I wrote, the more I uncovered. This evening, I would like to share a few of the recollections I've been able to dredge up. I was in 8th grade in 1966. Do the math. It was an experience drastically different from the one you have experienced this year at Magellan. We didn't change classes. Every subject was taught by one teacher, so I spent all day, every day with the formidable Mrs. Wall. I'd always had women for teachers, and they all affectionately called me honey or sugar, but not Mrs. Wall. She was all business. She was a humorless woman who prowled the classroom with a solid oak yardstick that she tapped like a cane on the polished wood floor, and which she used to crack the shins of legs sprawled in the aisles. She was an intimidating physical presence. She was, to use one of my mother's expressions, big-boned. There was nothing dainty about this woman. Her ankle bones were the size of large rocks. She was tall and stout without being fat. In fact, when she wrote on the chalkboard, the bottom of her arm didn't sag and jiggle like my old 7th grade teachers did. Mrs. Wall had the arms of a weightlifter. She seldom smiled, but when she did, her teeth were splotched with red lipstick like fangs dripping with blood. I remember a classroom that was quiet for much of the day, a guarded silence. Our lessons weren't creative. They were in full measure drudgery. When we finished one page of arithmetic, we turned the page for more. We read chapters from textbooks and answered questions. We read dull, lifeless stories and answered even more questions. Often, at the end of the day, I would look enviously out the door across the hall into Coach Hinton's classroom, where he stood at the chalkboard drawing football or basketball plays, chatting with his students about an upcoming game. Mrs. Wall, however, reserved the last minutes of the day to harangue us country boys about our failings at personal hygiene. Keep your fingernails clean. Wear clean socks, and for God's sake, use deodorant. I'd rather have a pack of wet dogs lying on the floor. Mrs. Wall did not go outside with us at recess. Other teachers supervised our play. She stayed inside and covered 2 long chalkboards with sentences we had to diagram when we came back inside. After you finished the sentences on one board, Mrs. Wall checked your paper. If she found one mistake, or if your penmanship was not up to her exacting standards, she sent you back to your desk to copy and diagram the sentences on the second board. If your paper was perfect to her eye, however, you didn't have to do the sentences on the second board. Instead, she sent you to the library downstairs. Most days, I made it to the library. I felt like a prison trustee on work release. I found solace there in the library. Now, you couldn't goof around when you went down there. No sirree. The librarian expected you to read, or at the very least, to be silent while you flipped through the pages of National Geographic magazines, disappointed that the librarian had cut out the photographs of half-naked Polynesian girls. If the librarian kicked you out, Mrs. Wall wouldn't allow you to return for days, sometimes weeks, so I kept my mouth shut and read. It was in the library that I found The Old Man and the Boy by Robert Ruark. With all due respect to Thomas Wolfe's Look Homeward Angel, I think The Old Man and the Boy to be the best book ever written by a North Carolina writer. I reread it every year or so, and I still cry at the last chapter when the boy learns that the old man is sick and dying. On Friday mornings, Mrs. Wall allowed us to recite Bible verses or poetry to the class for extra credit. She preferred Bible verses because she thought memorizing Scripture would change us from our heathenish ways. In the library, I finally discovered some poetry that I really liked. Poetry that wasn't prissy. Poetry that had action and bravery. My two favorite poems were The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes and The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. In a bold and daring move for me, I decided to recite one of them to the class instead of the usual Bible verse. Since The Highwayman had the word breast in it at least 3 times, and The Charge of the Light Brigade had the word hell only a couple of times, I opted for the latter. On Friday morning, I stood beside Mrs. Wall's desk and began reciting the poem to the class. As I reached the third stanza, Mrs. Wall joined in with me, and together we fairly shouted the words, "Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, boldly they rode and well, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. My opinion of Mrs. Wall rose to inestimable heights. Anyone who could recite The Charge of the Light Brigade was tops in my book. Occasionally, the long, boring days were relieved by the antics of one of the characters in the class. The most gifted student in the class was a boy named Kenneth, a dairy farmer's boy, who wore his older brother's blue corduroy Future Farmers of America jacket to school every single day of the year. Some days, Kenneth got up before dawn to help his father with milking. By afternoon, especially in winter, when the radiators hissed and clanked and filled the room with a quilt of steam heat, Kenneth would fall asleep. He's the only person I've ever known who could sleep with his eyes wide open. One minute he would be working away, and then all of a sudden his pencil would stop. He would sit staring down at his paper as though deep in thought. Not a sound, still as a statue. As soon as we noticed a thread of drool coursing down his chin onto his paper, someone would drop a book to the floor or bump Kenneth's desk on the way to the pencil sharpener to wake him before Mrs. Wall caught him napping. And then there was my good friend Mitchell, who was willing to endure any corporal punishment for the thrill of a good prank. In 5th grade, he got in big trouble one Saturday afternoon at the Ambassador Theater in downtown Raleigh. During a matinee, he tipped an open can of Campbell's vegetable soup over the balcony while making retching noises. In 8th grade, he set off a couple of cherry bombs one winter afternoon in the stairwell. The stairwell was like an echo chamber. The explosions didn't cause pandemonium, but there were screams and cries aplenty. A 3rd grade teacher on the 1st floor pulled the fire alarm, thinking the boiler in the basement had exploded. The building was evacuated. Our principal, good old Mr. Williams, and wise in the ways of adolescent boys, quickly rounded up the likely culprits, extracted a confession from Mitchell, and thrashed him soundly with a wooden boat paddle. In 8th grade, I waded into the icy waters of politics and ran for treasurer of the student council. The auditorium was packed to hear the candidates' speeches. I was still the shortest kid in the class in 8th grade and had to stand on a Pepsi crate in order to see above the lectern. When I finished, everyone applauded. Mrs. Wall was loudest. When I took my seat in the audience, she leaned forward from her seat behind me and whispered, "Well done." Then my opponent took the stage. He walked with long, sure strides to the podium. His name was Bruce. He was a star in football, basketball, and baseball. He was tall and strong and handsome. He was a clean-cut, all-America kind of guy. He was a Greek god. He was Adonis. I can't remember Bruce's speech, but I do remember this. Just as he finished speaking, he turned his head and winked at his girlfriend, the head cheerleader. The entire JV cheerleading squad leaped up and ran down the aisle waving blue and white pom-poms in the air. They cartwheeled in front of the stage. They cheered, "Bruce, Bruce, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Bruce, Bruce, he's our man. He's our man. He's our man." Those words echoed in my ears as we trudged upstairs to our classroom to vote. I wish I could tell you that when Mr. Williams announced the winners at the end of the day on the intercom, that I was lifted victorious on the shoulders of my classmates. But I can't. I wish I could tell you that as I got older, I developed sex appeal like Bruce, and that I could wink at a group of girls and they would explode like a covey of quail and flock around me. But I can't. But I did fall in love in 8th grade with a girl named Jackie. For part of the year, I sat in the desk right behind her. Her golden hair, fine as corn silk, hung nearly to her waist. I sat close enough that I could have reached out and touched it, but I didn't dare. Her eyesight was terrible, but her thick glasses only magnified her dazzling blue eyes. One morning before class, I gave her a pack of Bic pens, assorted colors. She smiled. I melted. And then, as Mr. Williams droned the announcements over the intercom, Jackie pushed her notebook to the edge of her desk where only I could see that she had drawn a heart on the cover, and in it she had written JJ plus PB. Any doubts I had about the existence of God vanished at that moment. My prayers had been answered. The first two sentences in Dickens' novel, A Tale of Two Cities, best sum up my year in 8th grade with Mrs. Wall. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But 45 years later, I now realize that year had a lasting impact on my life in two ways for which I'm ever thankful. I still love libraries, and I still love poetry. Years from now, when your children graduate from 8th grade, I hope you will be able to look back fondly to this year at Magellan, that a smile will cross your face, and that you'll have at least one story to tell. Today, as you graduate, you may not know all that the world has to offer, but your parents and teachers know that the world will be a better place because of what you have to offer it. Today, you may not know which path you should follow, but we know that you will listen to your own heart, for it will never lie. Today, you may question what you have already accomplished, but we know you will never doubt what you can do. As all of your tomorrows open themselves to you, may you never forget how proud we are of you and how much we love you. Yesterday, today, and always. Thank you and Godspeed.
Before we watch our Magellan memories, Mr. Andrews and I have two very special presentations. Students, I want to congratulate you on the successful completion of 5 years of hard work here at Magellan. The members of MAP, along with the entire Magellan community, have a gift for you. On behalf of all of us, I would like to present this plaque with each of your names engraved on it. The plaque will hang in the hallway and serve as a permanent reminder of your presence here at Magellan. It will be added to the plaques that are out here in the hall.
Good evening. I've been asked to award a very special award, a new award for Magellan Charter School. It's called the Continuing Journey Award or Continuing Journey Scholarship. This is going to be given now this year and every year to a high schooler on their way to college. First, I want to thank a staff member, Phil Bailey, for the idea. It was his idea. The board immediately embraced it. And Amy Grant and others worked very hard to make this a reality. A special thank you to Lee Ammons, who also helped a lot on this award. First, I want to just take an opportunity to say, as a parent of 3 graduates here, I've had the wonderful opportunity of watching my older children go through high school and see how the Magellan magic played out in their years there. This is a special place, folks, and I know you know that. Well, now this award is a wonderful thing for us to keep the Magellan magic moving to the future. And for all you students, when you're seniors getting ready to go to college, I want to see 67 or 68 or how many there are applications for this wonderful scholarship. Without further ado, we have somebody here tonight that's going to receive a scholarship that went to Raleigh Charter School. She lettered in 4 different sports, all 4 years at her school there. In 11th grade, she was class president. She was on a National Honor Society and also volunteered for the American Red Cross. Lindsay Creech, please come up and accept your award.
We also will be placing a plaque out in the hall, and this will be the first time this plaque is hung. It says, Continuing the Journey Scholarship awarded to Magellan students who continued to strive towards excellence throughout their high school years. And Lindsay's name is the first name on the plaque. So, congratulations.
Look at that.
Here we are.
Hi, guys.
We're just looking at the yearbook when you guys were in 4th grade, and we can't believe how much you guys have grown.
Some of you more than others.
I remember at the very end of the year in 4th grade, I remember Mrs. Muncie cranking up her boombox, and all the kids, all you guys were lined up down the hallway dancing to High School Musical. And it was pretty awesome.
And the trip to Trinity. What an awesome trip.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Awesome trip.
I remember my Haw River cabin. You girls were wild. So I had to definitely take lots of naps and get over that crazy trip. So it was fun.
Yeah. It was your first year and it was our second year, remember, Maria?
Yep.
And what I remember is just what a really great group of kids, a really sweet group of kids it was. We said 5th grade, you got a real treat. I wish you the very best.
You remember the 4th grade? It was in the corner. Okay, my room was in the corner next to Miss Muncie's, and we were all kind of smashed in there. And we tried to do anything in the hallway. It was like, whoa, no room at all.
In the old school.
In the old school. Now you guys are here in this brand new building. God bless you all. Thank you.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, good luck. Come back and see us. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The car Cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring at the passengers and waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live.
Goodbye, 8th graders. You have grown up so quickly. Best wishes for continued success in high school and beyond.
We wish you the very best of everything always. Thanks for all the wonderful memories.
Get on the way, babe, a family on my mind. I'm 45 for a moment, the sea is high and I'm heading through war crosses, chasing the years of my life. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose yourself within.
Hi, 8th graders. You'll always be special to me. Not only were you my last class at Magellan, but after 38 years of teaching, I decided you couldn't be topped, so I stopped altogether. Please stay in touch. We can do that with Facebook. I'm already friends with many of yours. Let me know what you're doing in high school and also the future. Best of luck.
We just think that you all are a special group, and we wish you much luck in high school, and hope you make good decisions, and look forward to seeing all the great accomplishments that you all achieve throughout the coming years. And Ray, love you.
I had such a great opportunity to teach you all. It was my first year back after being a stay-at-home mom for almost 12 years. So you all broke me in well, but I do have to say they had to send me down to 3rd grade after this experience. So maybe it wasn't so great after all. I appreciated you all doing such a great job, treating me so well, and sharing so many great memories with me. Best of luck to you all.
You were a great class, and I will say that the halls of Magellan will never be the same without you here, and it's just bye for now.
As I think back to the current 8th graders, I think about how much I've learned from you. Through your Magellan experience, you've hopefully learned a lot, and you've also taught the teachers a lot. You broke me into 6th grade, and I've learned a lot about social issues in 6th grade, more than I want to know. And I've also learned about all of your neat experiences and your artistic abilities that you share in class. I will never forget the cooking lesson that Scotty and Pierce shared with us. So I appreciate all that you've taught me, and I hope to hear all that you do in the future, and I look forward to seeing you. Good luck.
Bravo to you, 8th graders. We are excited about you moving on, and we hope that you come back to see us. We hope that you enjoyed 7th grade as much as we did when we had you. And one memory that sticks out is when we made the tetrahedron kites, and the day we picked to fly them, none of them flew except for Sarah Ward's because she could run fast. So you did such a good job creating, and I hope that that you continue on creating when you get to high school, and don't be afraid to try new things.
3 things come to my mind when I think of your class.
One is your sense of humor. Another is your competitiveness. You're very competitive in the classroom games that we had for studying for tests and various things. You were so competitive. It didn't matter if you won just for pride. Everybody wanted to win. The final thing is your energy. Energy was complete and full every day, regardless of whether it was potential energy, kinetic energy, or any of the like. Good luck to you.
8th graders, I have so many happy memories of reading and writing with you. I have your poetry here on the bookshelf, and it's going to live on. I read it to my new students this year, I'll read it next year, and I'll remember writing with you. I hope that you continue to be readers and writers, and that you come back and visit us. Good luck.
And you know, you were the first class to create your own social studies field trips, and you became excellent observers of cultures. As well, you worked quite hard to help others with Stop Hunger Now and Heifer International. So our wish for you as you leave us is that you make every outing a learning experience, and every day becomes an opportunity to make the world a better place. Bye. Bye.
8th graders, this has been a wonderful year. We've enjoyed teaching each and every one of you. You're a lively, athletic, and intelligent bunch of kids. We're going to miss you, and we hope that you'll come back and visit us. To bid you farewell, we'd like to leave you with some words from a famous philosopher, Brendan Hoey.
Where's the love, man?
Hey! Cool your jets, Turbo.
Hey! Let's hug it out. Hey! Where's Jane?
Where's Jane?
Your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brains. I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went and let you blow my mind. Your sweet moonbeam, the smell of you in every single dream I dream. I knew when we collided, you're the one I have decided who's one of my kind. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio? Stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, 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 just in time. I'm so glad you have a one-track mind like me. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh,
watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking and singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I?
Hello, graduating class of 2010. The class of 2010, as you can plainly see with all the gold that surrounds me, actually was awarded 17 championships.
Thank you for who I am. Thank you for all the things I'm not. Forgive me for the words unsaid and for the times I forgot. Mama, remember all my life. You showed me love, you sacrificed. Think of those young and early days, how I've changed along the way, along the way. because of your truth, and I miss you, yeah, I miss you. Mama, forgive the times you cried. Forgive me for not making right all of the storms I may have caused, and I've been wrong. Dry your eyes, dry your eyes, 'cause I know you believe, and I know you had dreams, and I'm sorry it took all this time to see that I am where I am because of your truth, and I miss you, I miss you. Smile. I hope you're happy with my life, at peace with every choice I made. How I've changed along the way, along the way. 'Cause I know you believe in all of my dreams, and I owe it all to you.
Wow, that was an exceptional memories video. And I know a lot of parents contributed to that, but I want to spend just a minute to thank Steve Swienckowski because he spent countless hours putting that together for all of you. What a marvelous celebration it is tonight for our very beautiful, wonderful, handsome 68 graduates from Magellan. We hope that you will remember these 5 years at Magellan being surrounded by incredible teachers and staff, in addition to being so well prepared academically as you leave these halls. We feel that you will face challenges ahead, and your Magellan family, by the very way they live each day, have been exceptional examples of how to live your life, where giving comes from the heart, where you give of yourself without expecting anything in return. But this is not just a celebration for all you wonderful graduates. This is a celebration for your parents. It is a very special time for your family and friends who have come tonight to see you walk across this stage, so proud of your accomplishments and grateful that you have spent the past 5 years here in such a nurturing and encouraging environment. Please always remember the people who have played an important role in your lives and have helped with your journey here. I want you to remember especially our hardworking, humble board of directors who work tirelessly behind the scenes to assure our ship stays on course, and they truly are the wind beneath our wings. Also, a great thank you to Mary Griffin, our administrator, who knows each and every one of you by your names and has enjoyed so much watching you mature into the fine young people you are today. Of course, you will remember your incredible, caring, highly committed teachers and office staff who strive to make each day here at Magellan purposeful and to equip you with the tools and skills you will need to be lifelong learners. A very special thank you to your most wonderful parents who have helped in so many ways to make all that we do here at Magellan possible. I know personally I would not be able to do my job without your support and your eagerness to pitch in whenever I grabbed you in the hall. You were so needed in doing lunch duty, bringing supplies, organizing pizza days, and other special events for all the grade levels, and driving and chaperoning for over 37 voyages. Thanks to all of you for all you've done for this wonderful class of 2010. As Ms. Griffin mentioned, for 41 of our families tonight, this is your last child to graduate from Magellan. And we have honored all of you. I hope you will notice in the back on the wall, your names are listed and the children that you have had here that have attended Magellan. I truly cannot imagine the school without you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is my hope that you, graduates, will continue to practice the attitude of gratitude for all the special people in your life. Please look beyond yourselves to see the great needs of so many individuals that are in desperate need of help, and especially in these tough economic times. I commend you for your generous glass gift to the charities you selected. So please be mindful of people who need something that you can do. Be unselfish. The world needs more young people like you who will reach out to others. As John Wesley said in the early 1700s, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. Make us Magellan proud always. Take your eager, acquisitive minds and your giving hearts and make a difference in this world. My wish for you is that this life becomes all that you want it to. And now I want to wave my magic Magellan wand as you sail on to new adventures and new challenges in high school. Remember, we love you very, very much and wish you all the best wherever you may journey. Family and friends, I just want to remind you or invite you to a special reception that has been prepared for our wonderful 7th grade parents. And that will be held directly behind us immediately following after our graduates recess from this ceremony. I also want to especially thank Homewood Gardens for generously lending these magnificent plants, all the beautiful decorations that have made the stage look so wonderful. They have donated those to us for this evening's ceremony. And now, it is my distinct pleasure to present the Magellan class of 2010.
I'm sure everyone knows what character means. It's your reputation or the set of qualities that makes a person different from others. Good qualities make good character. Here at Magellan, we are promoting good character. It's important for us to focus on our own actions and choices for behavior, but we also need to be willing to take a stand for what is right. Take a look at the characters in this video and see how they encourage everyone to be a better person. This is what Campaign for Character is all about.
Isn't that awesome part done? Of course!
Wait! Freeze, let's see this the right way now.
Yeah, I love it. That was so cool. Hey, Brendan. Hey, Brendan.
Do you ever see people doing things they're not supposed to when adults aren't around, like these kids? Doing what's right even when no one's watching. That's integrity.
So, how's volleyball going? Pretty good. I have tryouts today and I'm actually really nervous. You're such a nerd. And you have no friends.
Your shirt is so ugly.
You know what, guys? What you're saying about Candace is not very nice. The only reason you're saying it is to make yourself feel better. Find a different way to do that. Oh, and by the way, Candace, I like your shirt.
Thanks, Al. People put other people down all the time. You hear it every day. But do you do anything to stop it? The character trait here is courage, mental or moral strength to withstand danger, fear, or difficulties.
Let's do that font.
No, that was terrible.
But you always pick the font.
That's because I have the best ideas.
Not really.
No one cares what you think.
It's definitely the other way around. We're never gonna get
Freeze! At this rate, this group's not going to get a very good grade on their project. Let's see how it's done.
Hey, why don't we elect a group leader so we can finish the project?
How about you, Denise?
Yeah, Denise, you should do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you consider yourself one of the kids who wanted to give up, or was one of the kids fighting, or the kid who took control and pulled the group together? The student who took control persevered, which is to keep at something in spite of difficulties.
Let's get to work.
These are African drums, and to use them you go like this.
Oh, I'm so bored.
Me too. When is this class over?
It's only 10:45.
Guys, be quiet and pay attention to Sam's project.
Yeah, save it for after class.
These kids weren't showing respect to Sam, who was presenting a project when they were talking in class. Respect is to think highly of someone or to show consideration for someone. When you see kids talking in class when the teacher is teaching or a student is presenting, tell them to quiet down and be respectful.
These things are so good. It's like French onion or like multi-grain.
But they're healthy and good.
I know.
Let's go. Guys, wait, we have to pick up our trash. I guess I'll have to do it.
The kids who left the trash on the table were very irresponsible. The student who cleaned the table up was responsible. Responsibility is having the quality of people being able to count on you. Do you think that people could count on you? Do you think that you are a responsible student?
How about we play basketball, guys?
Yeah! Okay, so now we're gonna pick the teams.
I always get picked last.
Okay, I'll pick first. I choose Allison.
Yes. Okay, I'll have Dane.
Yeah.
I'll pick Brendan.
And I'll have Cody.
I'm taking McKenna because with Sarah on my team, we'll lose.
I don't care if I have Sarah, as long as I have fun with my friends. The captain who chose Sarah showed tolerance by picking her. Tolerance is the ability to accept all people for who they are, even if they are different than you. The next time your grade is picking people for teams, try to urge them to be more like the student who chose Sarah and not the one that laughed at her for it. Yeah! So now you've seen how to deal with bad character and how to show good character and how to help others choose good character too. You've seen what Campaign for Character is all about. This is your life.